Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be organizing Go Fish, the Deluxe Kickstarter Edition, designed by who really knows, and published by I'm not sure. This is a fully sleeved copy of the game with no lid lift that's organized to get gameplay started as soon as possible. This includes all additional Kickstarter components and various ways to organize it that we'll cover later in this video. If you're looking for any of the items that we talk about in this video, please take a look in the description. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure that you do. It is the best way to help us grow. Let's get started organizing Go Fish. Before we get into the box, I do want to mention that we use the Ultra Pro matte sleeve deck protectors for the game. I really like the way they shuffle, however they do obscure the back of the cards. If you want to retain the art, I recommend the clear Pro matte sleeves instead. I find that the artwork on the back of the cards is a true masterpiece, but I do love the feel of the white-backed Pro matte sleeves instead. Let's take a look at the travel deck box here. We have these magnetic clasps, and we open it up like so. Now, the deck of cards that we actually chose, we opted for the cowboy theming. We really enjoyed this one as opposed to the aliens or the spacefarers or the medieval themes because I just like the art style that they chose for the front of these cards. They still have that nice fish detail on the back though. So you have all of your variety of cards here in those nice white matte sleeves. Shuffle them up and deal out hands to each player. Thanks to the unlocked stretch goals, we have a variety of new cards to add to the game, including a variety of new symbols that increase the variability in the game, including cows and cups. You just have a lot of great options here. Now, unfortunately, the designer made a misstep here. The cards are not cut correctly, so they're not going to fit into these standard white sleeves. So instead, we've opted to use the super large card sleeves, extra large size, from Sleeve Kings. They're going to be a little bit big on these cards, but I'd rather have them be a little bit loose than extremely tight and bend the cards. So sleeve those up and you'll be able to exchange them when ready. So that's the travel edition of the game using the deck box here, but this is not necessarily the only way you'll store it. You can actually incorporate this travel edition into the other storage methods. The next storage method here is a tin. This was voted on by the backers of the campaign because everyone really enjoys storing their cards inside of tins. This has a great feature where you can lift the lid and actually put the travel case straight inside and then fill it up with the additional components from that exclusive edition. Now that you have the tin to protect your cards from the elements, you want to throw a silica gel packet in there to make sure that it stays nice and fresh. Now, why don't we just throw another one in there? How about another? More? I think this is good. Let's just a couple more. Yeah, that'll do. We then have our two rulebooks for the game, the rules reference, as well as the main game rulebook that you'll need to use in tandem to understand how to play the game. You can simply place these on top. You should also have room for those cards, and let's just toss them in here. They're not really going to slide around that much. And that's everything inside of the tin storage. Let's close that lid here, and you'll notice that there is a bit of lid lift, but that'll be all right as everything is fitting nice and snug inside. If you find that the tin is a little bit too small for you or you don't like the lid lift, you can always use the included extra deluxe storage box here. It's got a great design here that really evokes a nice family-friendly presence for the game, and this is going to fit all of your additional components as well as all of the upgrades and add-ons that were available during the Kickstarter campaign. If we remove the rule books, our tin will fit nicely on this left side of our large organizer, and the lid will actually close this time. We'll then put the rule books in this right section. Let's put some more silica gel packets in there because why the heck not? Up next, we have the iron clays here. These are to track who has actually won each game. So you'll give one of these chips to the winner at the end of each round, but they do come in denominations of 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, and 100, so you can track these until you all die. We'll put these in the bottom right section here. Up next, we have a Spellground playmat for the game. This is a great feel and texture for playing your cards on. We'll put that on top of our tin on the left side here. Up next, we have our Who Goes First tokens. We've got a two-sided die here, also known as a coin, that you can flip if you're playing a two-player game. If there's a three-player game, you're out of luck. We don't have any three-sided stuff, and there's no way that we could possibly figure this out. The other options you have are 4-player games, 6-player games, all the way up to a 20-player game. So it's up to you how you want to decide who goes first. After you've decided who's gone first, you're going to use this large first-player token to make sure no one forgets who the first player was. You also have this neat pin. You can put that on the first player to make them feel even more special. To store all of our smaller components, we're going to use one of these art box organizer trays. We'll lift the lid off here, and then you'll take the start player marker based on the player count you're playing at. And they'll have their own separate sections here, and you'll just drop them like so you can easily determine what goes where. You also have some room here for future expansions. That'll just go on top of our rules references, and we'll place that large first player marker in the center here. The last deluxe accessory you have is a dice tray. You're going to go ahead and undo these corners, and that way you'll have it ready to go when you're ready to roll your first player determining dice. You'll put that on top of that organizer on the right side here. And have no fear, if you went ahead and got the additional dice trays, the non-leather ones that have no corners for things to get stuck on, there is going to be room to store these as well. Just make sure you clip those corners, just like the other one, and then place it on top of your other dice tray. So you can pick the one that you think works best for you. There's also room for extra sleeves. You can just toss them in like so. And that is organizing Go Fish. If you have any questions about what you saw here, please let me know down in the comments below. How do you organize your copy of Go Fish, the Deluxe Kickstarter Edition? Is this a game that you've been waiting on for a while? What do you think of the expansion? What's your preferred player count? We'd love to hear what you think. But thank you so much for watching SideGame Strong.